Casey have inflamed debate and deepened division. We hold that Roe and Casey must be overruled. It's time to heed the Constitution, return the issue of abortion to the people's elected representatives. There's been I have a lot of skepticism, although I do find Professor Dershowitz's theory very fascinating, interesting, plausible, all the above. So I really don't know what to tell this audience because I don't think anybody does know. What's your reaction to the Politico article?
My reaction is that the draft, Sean, reads a lot like Justice Alito. I clerked at that court. I've litigated at that court. I'm reading this leaked opinion tonight, and I think it's legitimate. This, to me, there are details in this that would be very hard to know.
Thanks
details
for
of the
watching.
reporting about when the justices voted, about how they voted.
Subscribe and like button.
It's pretty hard to make that up out of whole cloth.
Bring you more up-to-date news.
There are all kinds of indicators here that
We
sound
are
like somebody
variety
who really does know. And I can tell you, there's a small universe of people who would know the details that are in that report. Basically, we're talking about a justice or clerks or maybe an employee, someone who works in one of the justices' offices. But it's not very big, Sean. And I have to tell you, it sounds real to me, and I think this is plainly an attempt by the left to try and change the outcome in this case and corrupt the process. And the court must not allow that to happen.
Senator, this has never happened in the history of the court, certainly not in my lifetime. Professor Dershowitz can't remember a single instance. What does that mean if somebody would leak what is only a draft, it's not a completed document, to potentially alter the outcome of a Supreme Court case? Well, I've got to imagine laws might apply there for the person responsible, no?
Well, certainly the ethics rules for lawyers. If this was a lawyer who did this, a clerk, or anyone who practices law, who is currently a member of the bar, they should be disbarred. And I have to say, I think the Chief Justice tomorrow morning is going to have a lot of work to do on this court. Tomorrow morning, the Chief Justice of the United States is going to have to convene the justices. He's going to have to convene the clerks and all employees of the court. And he's going to have to say that the leaker needs to come forward. And this is very, very serious. It is an unprecedented breach of the court's confidentiality, and it is plainly meant to corrupt the process within the court. It's an assault on the court, Sean, and it's got to be taken seriously, and the Chief Justice is now going to be the one who has to do this inside the court.
Let's ask you, Senator, one last question. As conservatives, as constitutionalists, we believe many, and I've argued for years, that this is bad law, an enumerated right not in the Constitution. And according to part of the draft, it addresses that question by saying the Constitution does not prohibit the citizens of each state from regulating or prohibiting abortion. Roe and Casey arrogated that authority. We now overrule those decisions, return that authority to the people and their elected representatives. Isn't that the argument conservatives have made for a long time? Because I would anticipate if this were the final decision, that this would be an issue that would be demagogued to death, and we'd hear things like back alley abortions and coat hangers, things, for example, that the late Senator Ted Kennedy tried to say about Justice Bork, which were not true about him at the time.
Yeah, what this draft opinion says is that this is an issue for the voters, and that's exactly right, Sean. The Constitution is silent on this issue. That means that it is up to the people to decide in the 50 states. And it's really an issue that should be debated in the democratic process in the states. And that's where this opinion, if indeed this becomes the majority opinion, that's where it would leave it. And that is exactly right under the Constitution. The people should get to decide, not 9 justices wearing robes who aren't accountable to anybody.
All right, we really appreciate it.
Thanks for watching. We appreciate the views. Hit that subscribe and like.
All right, here with more, author of the